Yo, what's good, y'all? It's me, Milkman, back at it again with another video. Hopefully, I get the thumbnail working, but as you can see in the thumbnail, if I get it working, and the title, we're gonna be talking about Keemstar and how much of a fucking fraud this dude is. Like, he has made so many biased opinions, not factual. Like, he hasn't given out factual information, and he literally has, like, no. Like, I don't even know why he's making YouTube content at this point. Like, he's such a fucking fraud. The only two stories that I can actually give him that he did the research and, said it correctly and put it out correctly were the Mini Lad and James Charles controversies. Other than that, he has very low edited videos, very low quality content, unfactual, and he makes biased opinions. He puts out his biased opinions when it's about his friends. Like, the stories today that we're going to be talking about are mainly going to be about how much of a fucking this dude is, and how much he fucked up about the CallMeCarson story, the Vanos crew story, the Danny Duncan crew, or like the Danny Duncan story. Like, and like the most recent one was the Danny Duncan, but there was a one before that, right before that actually, where a girl went on TikTok and was like, yo, Jake Paul did this to me. And this dude literally said how that is not possible. That's just not possible. Oh my god, you're lying. Your shits are lying. Bro, she literally said that Jake Paul forced her to suck his Tic Tac, his fucking, science project, his fucking Ant-Man wiener, okay? And Keemstar literally said, oh my god, you're lying. Like, if he made, like, why didn't you just say no? Like, why didn't you try to attack him? Like, you can't just say that you didn't enjoy it. In my opinion, it's almost as bad as the rice gum thing a couple years ago, where he asked a literal R-word victim if it felt good. Did that feel good? No, it probably didn't. It definitely did not feel good, rice gum. But we're gonna be talking about him more as we uncover the story about how he's just literally a fraud. I don't know why he's on YouTube, in my opinion. He is, I don't know. Like, I'm glad he's retiring. Now, the first situation in question is going to be basically the less recent one, like the lowest on the list, which is the CallMeCarson situation. Basically, CallMeCarson's two friends went on drama alert after they had found out for a couple months before going on drama alert that CallMeCarson had been having a relationship and sexual relations with a fan who was 17 at the time. And before we go any further into it, in my opinion, CallMeCarson was 19 and the person in question was 17. And in my opinion, and in most people's opinion, most people who have over like 50 brain cells would think, you know, well, they're 19, he's 19, she's 17. It's like socially accepted, but is it legal? Not necessarily. Not necessarily, but in some states it is allowed. Like there are states, especially in Texas where I live, where there is an age of consent at 17. Some other states are 16, which basically means that you are old enough to give your consent to have basically sexual relations with someone that is older than 18 or 17. But at that point in time, you cannot no longer, you're technically an adult, so you can no longer have, relations of any kind with people of a younger age. And that, in my opinion, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't like he was doing really bad things. I mean, yes, I know that there is things of, child porn and, like, it was like we're sending pictures back to each other and all that, which isn't bad. The only fact is, if it was strictly in a state that was 17, age of consent 17, it would strictly, that relationship would strictly have to be, you know, relationship, and if they wanted to have sex, they could, but technically they could not send pictures because that is still, because they are still minor, although they have consent to have sex, they are still considered a child, to where, child porn, like if you were to send pictures, it would be child porn. But in my opinion, it's not that bad. It really wasn't that bad. But Keemstar made it out to be like it was the worst thing ever. Like, he was saying that, he manipulated her, like that Carson, and then manipulated the girl in question to have this relationship because she was a fan. And, all this other stuff about manipulation and grooming, which, in my personal, what I've heard is she was literally consenting to all of this, and, she had consent, so it wasn't grooming, and it wasn't, manipulation. She knew that she was having a relationship with him, so she was very aware of the situation that she was in. But Keemstar did not care. It was because she was 18 and he was 17. Even though, or that she was 17 and he was 19. Even though Keemstar, who lives in California, the age of consent is 16. He doesn't realize that there is age of consent and stuff like that. Which, if he's not up to his laws, then maybe he should, read on that. But he basically made out and treated out that CallMeCarson was the worst part of the devil, bro. He was the worst possible fucking person. And there was, a divide between CallMeCarson fans, which, you know, half were fans that had, two brain cells, and the other half were intellectuals who said, "Hey, man, it's only like a 2-year difference. It's not that bad." And well, him and everyone else that had like two brain cells uh, didn't think that was okay, and so he had to go off into the dark a little bit for a little while, actually, because I'm pretty sure he took like a year break from YouTube because of all of this. But to my knowledge, she came out and made a video saying that she was okay with it, that she knew what she was doing, that, she doesn't hate Carson at all, and that she knew that what she was doing was something that she wanted to do, which is good for her and all that, but it still didn't, stop Carson's fans or Keemstar from saying that he was a pedophile and a manipulator and a groomer of all things. And, well, that went on for about a month or two, and then, like, after it died down, literally a month or two later, all of Carson's fans were begging for him to come back. Which is just really crazy to me, because it's like, even the ones who said that he was a pedophile or a groomer, wanted to see him back. Like, I mean, that's pretty fucking cool. In my in my opinion, even though they weren't loyal to him when, he needed them the most and trusted literally the scum of the earth, Keemstar, to tell them that he was a manipulator, groomer, and a pedophile, they still loved him so much that they wanted him back, which is very cool to me. Um, but on to the next story. Alright, for the second story, basically, Keemstar, a week before this story was put up, Louis Caliber had a Google Doc basically made up about him and how he apparently sent nudes to his fans and shit like that. All stupid fucking shit. And like very unclear shit as well, like very low context doc about it. And a very prominent character in the Vanoss videos um, saw this after being told, like being exposed basically by the Terrorizer, the gaming Terrorizer, saw this and saw it basically as a chance to get revenge on Terrorizer and the entire group as a whole. Basically, Allmaker was very prominent and was very active in the videos and within the group, and wanted to get revenge because he got kicked out and all this or something like that, all because of Terrorizer exposing him. About what, I don't really know. It doesn't really go that deep. But basically, he saw this Google Doc and said, "Let me hit up my fellow moron, Keemstar. Maybe we can get this out here." And then started to create, like, some truths, but mostly lies. Basically, apparently, the entire thing was that H2O, who is a father of two now, like, they basically said that H2O had been set up with a minor, a 17-year-old. Again, not caring about the law about, like, if age of consent was in her state or anything. But basically, I do work in executioner. They basically said that, hey, why don't you go flirt with him and all this, and, just record it, and we'll make fun of him about it. In the end, Mexico basically does, apologize for it and say that not a lot of it is, like, Delirious's fault, that he takes the blame for all of it, which is a good friend. But basically, all this stupid shit was coming across. Keemstar noticed it and said, let me make a fake-ass video about it. And, spread misinformation about the entire Vanoss crew. And, no one really believed him. Like, they should. Because this man was coming off, was getting his information from a person who had been known to be a backstabbing bitch, basically. Like, he literally got this information from Omrecker, and Omrecker was not the best, informant, because a lot of the information that he brought to the table actually made Omrecker and Keemstar look bad, because they literally had, like, most of the information was not, like, covered. Like, it literally was not proof, and there was zero evidence of it being true. And literally, that's all I have to say about that story. Basically, it was two scum of the earth coming together to make one shitty video. Alright, the next story that we're going to be talking about, and the final story that we're going to be talking about, is Danny Duncan's allegation, controversy, whatever you want to call it. Basically, what started all this was a video from one of Danny's former, like, employees, I guess. The Sun Hat Kid making, a video about how Danny abused him and how Danny did all this shit verbally, and, how he was scared like a fucking whining dog of Danny. That he had to sit at the side of the door outside, so that way, Danny wouldn't snap at him for eating cereal too loudly, which is, like, blatantly stupid. It's just so fucking dumb. But Keemstar, scum of the earth he is, went ahead and paid 4 girls to come on to his fake CNN, fake news organization, and say that Danny Duncan groomed me, like, that basically that he groomed them. And fucking, no one bought it, because all the evidence and everything that, they had was, well, you should believe me. And my phone I had all these screenshots and recordings on my phone that I lost. Or that I broke. And I saved none of it to my iCloud. Like, it was so lackluster of, like, it lacked intelligence as well as evidence and proof that it happened. Like, he showed pictures that could have been taken at any event and claimed that that's what started a relationship. And he claimed that a like 16-year-old girl took off her bra and threw it on stage at Danny Duncan's concert. Or not concert, but fucking his tour, which is like so absurd. Like, it's so dumb. It's so like basically that's like Danny Duncan's like tour is very much a crazy and wild tour and thing to be on, but it's not a fucking rock like concert. Like, there's not people moshing in the fucking crowd. And the crazy absurdity of that a 16-year-old girl would take her bra off and throw it on stage is so absurd, because I'm 17 and I can't get any fuck like at the age of 16 I couldn't even get a girl to take her shirt off for me. Like, it's just so dumb that he thinks that a 16-year-old girl would willingly take her bra off and throw it upstage onto the stage so that way Danny Duncan could see it and he would call her backstage for some sexy sucky time. Like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. But in all of this, in light of all of this, Danny Duncan made zero response videos because I guarantee you, he saw those videos and said, "This is dumb. It lacks so much evidence and proof, and it's so untrue." Because, like, if he was true, if anything in that video was true, he would have made a response and claimed that it was untrue, that it was false information. But he didn't. And that's all I have to say about that dumb, absurd story. Like, Keemstar, stop making content. So that was it for today's video. Yeah, I don't, in all honesty, I don't, hope this gives me any attention. The only person that I want to see this is honestly Keemstar, because I think it would be funny to just see his reaction to it. Like, I hope he tweets me or something. Like, it would be even funnier if he made an entire video about how he's not a fraud, and every video of his has evidence to the max. Like, I don't know. I feel like Keemstar, I'm glad he's, retiring, but he's giving his platform to a person who has the exact same IQ as him. Like, he has the IQ of 10, and then his successor has the IQ points. He has fucking, I don't know, 8 IQ points. They're both very retarded. I can't see how either of these benefit. I don't think that his channel will be benefiting from any of this, because they make the exact same stories. They make the exact same dumb stories. So it's not looking good for YouTube. In my personal opinion, after so many lacking evidence cases, like so many stories that he did not like. It's clear that he didn't show any like effort to putting in like to finding any evidence of what actually happened. Um, so like I feel like Drama Alert should just stop being a thing, but it's probably not going to. But anyways, this is the video. This is the one video that we get, and I will see you guys on Wednesday when I release probably another commentary YouTube video. But it might be a funny moment if I can get any fucking luck. But I'll see you guys later.